right now. Very pleased to have with us from Midway USA, Mr. Larry Potterfield. Larry, how are you, sir?
Cam, good afternoon, man.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the program, and congratulations on 1 million active customers.
Quite a deal.
That is quite a deal, and I got to say, you and your wife Brenda, I think gun owners all around the country know what special people you are, and how much you care about our right to keep and bear arms, how much you have given back, and your family has given back over the years. But I got to tell you, this is pretty amazing. You sent out a notice to your customers, and you said you gave quite a bit of thought as to how you could celebrate this milestone. Should you choose our 1 millionth active customer and give he or she a special gift? Then someone came up with another idea, and that idea was to donate $1 to the NRA for every one of your active customers. And so, Larry, that's what you decided to do.
Cam, thanks for your kind words. And Brenda and I do work pretty hard to satisfy customers, and we always have. But coming up 1 million customers, you stop and think about it. I mean, one, you got to get them. So, and then you've got to serve them. So you got to have the systems and the processes. You got to deserve the business, first of all, but then you got to serve them. You got to take the orders and ship the packages. And the idea of being able to take orders from 1 million customers in one 12-month period of time, and to satisfy about 95% of them. I think our customer satisfaction runs 95%, which is, to my knowledge, just about as high as it ever gets. But then the question is, what do you do to celebrate that? Because it's certainly special to us. And we thought, well, what's $1 a customer? Well, doesn't sound like much, does it? But it's $1 million, and that was a great thinking. I don't know whose idea that was, but when it came to us, we realized that was the right idea.
I just, look, and I know that your customers, you must have been, you must be overwhelmed with your customers responding to this.
Well, certainly, I'm a customer and Brenda's a customer. I mean, we're country kids from Missouri, so there's nothing special about us. We've been in the industry now for 35 and a half years. This is the way we run the business, and customers seem to like that. So the responses we've seen and heard from customers is very positive. So we're delighted with that.
Larry, if I can, you talk about the relationship that you have with your customers, and clearly that's very important to you as well. I know we've got a lot of folks who are FFLs. They're starting out their own businesses just like you did back in the 70s. It seems to me, my friend Jim Garrity actually was just talking about this today. It seems like we're losing that sort of sense of good customer service in this country. Are you seeing that? And is that one way for businesses, no matter what your industry is, to stand out these days?
Well, I think since 77, we're smarter today than what we were in 77. But when we opened the doors back then, it was still a focus on the customer. And when the door opens, we were happy to have a customer walk in. It was just a gun shop in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we understand from a business perspective how very important it is to put the customer first. So you have the passion to do it because that's just who you are. That's how you're made. But then you have the business understanding that anybody that's going to put the customer first instead of putting themselves first is going to run a successful business, because the customers are the ones that pay the bills, are the ones that write all the checks. The money that we were able to give to the ILA endowment wasn't our money; it was customers' money. The customers gave us that money. If they hadn't have, then we wouldn't have it to give away. So putting the customer first is a super duper advice for anybody who wants to be in business. You can't hardly drive yourself out of business if you focus on the customer.
Yeah. And I've got to ask, how is business these days? Obviously, a lot of gun owners are seeing, a hard time finding guns and ammunition right now. How do you think the state of the industry is doing?
Well, what we like to say is business is booming, which is just tongue-in-cheek in our industry. The challenge, I think, that everyone has today is getting inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So from being in a position in early December, where December is always a strong demand month, but I mean, you're doing all the business that you expected to do. You've got a budget, and you're performing the budget. And then there is a demand of many times budget. And you think, okay, well, how much more inventory can I get? Well, the factories are all running at 70 or 80 or 90% capacity, so they can all produce 10 or 15% more, but they can't produce 600% more. So if you can imagine the demand for 22 ammo, for any of the pistol ammo, for 223 ammo, for any of the parts for ARs, all that demand is just absolutely through the roof. And maybe it's 600%, maybe it's 1,000. I don't know who could measure it. But everybody would like to have more inventory. The customers are lining up, and we're all doing the very best we can. But there's nobody that smiles when customers say, "When will you get something?" Because we just frankly don't know.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and I think gun owners hopefully understand that patience. I know that as you say, the industry is working as hard as it can to keep up with that demand, and the demand certainly. I don't think the demand's going to slow down until at least we know what's going to happen in Congress, which may be April or May, Larry.
Well, we think that it's a push probably even beyond that. April or May, we think Congress will shut down, but we don't know what executive orders might come out. We don't know what administrative organizations, what rulings they might do. We don't know what the courts are going to do, and we don't know what the states are going to do. So we've already had New York take a position. They're debating very heavily in Colorado today. Chris Cox told me that there were 7 states that they were watching very hard. So all of this stuff is going to play itself out through the next several months. We don't know how long. And then we get the push for the 2014 elections, and we don't have any idea what kind of rhetoric we're going to see on that. So I expect that our people, and our people is a very, very broad range, way, way beyond just the NRA membership, is going to be apprehensive for the next many, many months, maybe even into the 2014 elections at the end of them. If the Republicans would happen to lose the House in 2014, gee whiz. So that's apprehension, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Larry, thank you again for your time, sir. I know that you're a busy guy, and you probably got to get back to work. But again, a really great talking to you. Thank you for everything that you continue to do, and I look forward to seeing you at the NRA annual meeting in Houston, Texas.
Roger that. Thanks so much, Cam.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, sir.